You've been living a lie. Yep, your whole life, packed with facts that are so wrong, they'd make a conspiracy theorist blush. From goldfish memories to myths about the moon, we're not just breaking misconceptions, we're tearing them to shreds. Stick around, if your ego can handle it. 1. Did you know you don't actually need 8 glasses of water a day? That whole 8 glasses thing? Total myth. You get most of your water from food and other drinks. So if you've been forcing yourself to chug gallons of water like you're training for a marathon, yeah, you can chill now. 2. Humans have more than 5 senses. There's balance, temperature, pain, and even proprioception, your sense of where your body parts are without looking. So, if you've ever tripped over your own feet, blame your extra senses for taking a coffee break. 3. Alcohol doesn't kill brain cells. It can mess with your brain's wiring, but your cells aren't dropping dead every time you have a drink. So, while moderation is still key, you don't need to toast with guilt at every happy hour. 4. The tongue map is a lie. You can taste sweet, sour, salty, and bitter flavors all over your tongue. That diagram you saw in school? Pure pseudoscience. Your taste buds aren't playing a weird game of territorial monopoly. They're team players. 5. Vikings didn't wear horned helmets. That's just a 19th century opera costume design that stuck. Can you imagine trying to raid a village while worrying about your horns getting caught on stuff? The aesthetic might be fierce, but the practicality? 0. 6. Napoleon wasn't short. He was actually above average height for his time, around 5 feet 6 inches. The whole Napoleon complex thing is basically historical slander. Poor guy conquers half of Europe and we call him short. Rude. 7. Sugar doesn't make kids hyperactive. Studies have debunked this over and over, but parents swear it's true. Fun fact, it's probably the excitement of the occasion, like a birthday party, that sends kids into overdrive, not the cake itself. 8. Bats aren't blind. In fact, many bats see pretty well. They use echolocation to navigate in the dark, but their eyes work just fine. So next time you hear blind as a bat, just know that bats would find that incredibly offensive. 9. Ostriches don't bury their heads in the sand. If they did, they'd suffocate. When they're scared, they lie flat on the ground to blend in. So the next time someone calls you an ostrich for avoiding a problem, remind them ostriches are actually pretty smart. Boom. 10. Humans don't just use 10% of their brains. That's Hollywood nonsense. Brain scans show activity throughout the whole thing, even when you're binge-watching your favorite show. So if you've been using this as an excuse, time to upgrade your excuses. 11. Penguins don't mate for life. I know, they've been marketed as the ultimate symbol of loyalty, but reality? Some penguins divorce their partners if they aren't pulling their weight. Imagine getting ghosted by your penguin spouse because your nest-building skills weren't up to par. Harsh. 12. Toilet water doesn't spin in different directions depending on the hemisphere. The Coriolis effect does influence large-scale phenomena like hurricanes, but your flush? That's all about the toilet design, not physics. Sorry to ruin your fun fact arsenal. 13. Mount Everest isn't the tallest mountain in the world if we measure from base to summit. That title goes to Mauna Kea in Hawaii. Most of it is underwater, which feels like cheating, but facts are facts. Everest just gets all the fame because it's flashy. 14. Gold doesn't come from Earth, it's extraterrestrial. Most of the gold on our planet came from ancient meteorite impacts. So, if you're wearing gold jewelry, congrats, you're rocking space bling. Suddenly, that necklace seems way cooler, doesn't it? 15. Bulls don't hate the color red. They're colorblind to red and green. The cape just irritates them because it's waving around like a taunt. Honestly, if someone waved anything in my face like that, I'd charge too. Bulls are just out here setting boundaries. 16. Lightning does strike the same place twice. In fact, some places, like tall buildings or trees, get hit repeatedly. So if you've been using lightning never strikes twice as your motivational mantra, you might want to rethink your life philosophy before heading into a storm. 17. Sushi doesn't mean raw fish. It refers to the vinegared rice. The fish? optional. So if you've been avoiding sushi because of the raw seafood factor, congratulations. You've been dodging deliciousness over a technicality. Go get yourself a California roll and live a little. 18. Einstein didn't fail math. By age 12, he was already tackling advanced calculus. That myth probably started because people wanted to feel better about their own algebra struggles. Sorry, but Einstein was just that smart. Time to face the numbers. 19. Owls don't spin their heads all the way around. They can rotate their necks about 270 degrees, which is still impressive, but not exorcist-level creepy. Their extra neck vertebrae let them pull off those dramatic glances, not full-on head spinning. 20. Gum doesn't take 7 years to digest. Your body can't fully break it down, but it passes through just like other stuff. So if you've been avoiding gum like it's a 7-year commitment, you can relax. Your digestive system isn't holding a grudge. 21. Touching baby birds doesn't make their parents abandon them. Birds don't have a great sense of smell, so they probably won't even notice. If anything, they're more concerned about you messing with their real estate, so go ahead and save that fallen chick. Just don't make it a habit. 22. You swallow way fewer spiders in your sleep than you think. The whole 8 spiders a year thing is just a cruel internet hoax. Spiders aren't lining up to kamikaze into your mouth while you snore. They're more scared of you than you are of them. Probably. 23. The Great Wall of China isn't visible from space. Astronauts have confirmed this over and over. It's long but super narrow, so it blends in. If you're gonna believe that, you might as well believe you can see your neighbor's driveway from orbit too. 24. Cracking your knuckles doesn't cause arthritis. Your grandma lied. The popping sound is just gas bubbles bursting in the joint fluid. So, while it might annoy everyone around you, your knuckles aren't on a countdown to becoming ancient ruins. 25. Earthworms don't become 2 worms if you cut them in half. Only some species can regenerate part of their body, and even then, the other half just dies. So, unless you're into worm surgery experiments, maybe let them wiggle in peace. 26. Black holes aren't giant cosmic vacuums sucking up everything in their path. They're just super dense objects with a strong gravitational pull. As long as you're not hanging out too close, you're safe. So don't worry, the universe isn't one big game of interstellar Pac-Man. 27. Water doesn't conduct electricity as well as you think. Pure water is actually a poor conductor. It's the impurities, like minerals, that make it dangerous. So, if someone says water and electricity don't mix, they're technically talking about the dirty kind. 28. Bananas don't grow on trees. They grow on giant herbs that look like trees but are technically plants. So, next time you're enjoying your smoothie, know that you're sipping on an herb, not some exotic tree fruit. Fancy, huh? 29. Cleopatra lived closer in time to the iPhone than to the building of the Great Pyramid. Wild, right? The pyramids were ancient history even to her. So if you thought she was out there designing pyramid blueprints, think again. She had bigger dramas to handle. 30. Your hair and nails don't keep growing after you die. It's just that your skin dehydrates and pulls back, making them look longer. Sorry, zombie fans. This creepy myth doesn't hold up. Let's stick to more realistic nightmares like taxes. 31. Fortune cookies aren't Chinese. They're an American invention. They were popularized in California in the early 1900s. So, next time you crack one open and get a weirdly cryptic life lesson, just know it has about as much authenticity as pineapple on pizza. 32. Sugar doesn't addict you like drugs. Sure, it lights up the pleasure centers in your brain, but so does hugging a puppy. If you've been blaming your sweet tooth on addiction, face it. You just really like dessert. No intervention required. 33. Lemmings don't commit mass suicide. That myth started with a staged Disney documentary in the 1950s. Yes, they migrate in large groups, and yes, accidents happen, but they're not forming little lemming cults. Leave the poor rodents out of your metaphors. 34. Sharks don't get cancer. Actually, they do. The idea that they're cancer-proof was just a marketing ploy to sell shark cartilage supplements. So unless you're a shark hoping for an insurance-free health plan, this myth doesn't do much for anyone. 35. Einstein didn't invent the theory of relativity while daydreaming under an apple tree. He spent years grinding through equations. It wasn't some light bulb moment. It was math, sweat, and probably a lot of coffee. Genius isn't always glamorous. 36. Waking up a sleepwalker won't kill them. It might confuse or freak them out, but they're not going to drop dead from it. Honestly, letting them stumble around the house might be riskier. No one wants a midnight trip down the stairs. 37. Medieval people didn't think the Earth was flat. That myth came from later centuries, not the Middle Ages. Most scholars back then knew it was round. Columbus wasn't battling flat earthers, just bad geography, and maybe a serious lack of snacks. 38. Dogs don't sweat through their tongues. They pant to cool off, but their sweat glands are actually on their paw pads. So, next time you see a dog happily panting, they're not sweating. They're just showing off their adorable built-in AC system. 39. Lightning doesn't always come from the sky down. It can also shoot up from the ground to the sky. Yeah, nature just likes to flex sometimes. If you're caught in a storm, just assume lightning can come at you from any direction and run for cover. 40. Eating too many carrots won't turn you into a superhero, but it can turn your skin orange. It's called carrot anemia, and it's harmless but hilariously weird. So if you've been trying to glow like a human highlighter, congrats. Your plan is working. 41. Humans don't explode in space without a spacesuit. Your blood won't boil, and you won't pop like a balloon. You'd pass out in seconds from lack of oxygen and eventually freeze, which is bad enough, but no Hollywood-style fireworks. Space is terrifying, but it's not that dramatic. 42. Brown eggs aren't healthier than white eggs. The color comes from the chicken's breed, not its nutrition. It's like assuming a red car drives faster than a blue one. So if you're paying extra for brown eggs thinking they're a superfood, congrats, you've been hustled by chickens. 43. Toilet seats aren't the dirtiest place in your house. Your kitchen sponge? That's the real germ factory. So if you've been carefully sanitizing your toilet while wiping your counters with SpongeZilla, you've been fighting bacteria in all the wrong places. 44. You can't lose body heat faster through your head. That whole 80% of heat escapes through your head thing? Total nonsense. You lose heat evenly across your body. So if you're freezing, a hat alone won't save you. Bundle up or suffer the consequences. 45. Shaving doesn't make your hair grow back thicker. The stubble feels coarse because it's cut bluntly, not because you're turning into a werewolf. So unless you're looking for an excuse to skip shaving, this myth isn't going to save you from the razor. 46. Mount Everest isn't the closest point to space. That honor goes to Mount Chimborazo in Ecuador because of Earth's bulge at the equator. Everest may be taller, but Chimborazo sticks out farther. It's like Everest is the straight A student, but Chimborazo one most likely to reach the stars. 47. You don't need to wait 24 hours before filing a missing persons report. That's just a TV trope. If someone's in danger, report it immediately. So, if your favorite crime show taught you otherwise, maybe start questioning its other facts too. 48. Coffee doesn't dehydrate you. Sure, it's a mild diuretic, but it's mostly water, so it still hydrates you. So if anyone tells you to skip your morning cup because it's bad for hydration, feel free to ignore them. Nobody messes with caffeine. 49. Bats won't fly into your hair. They're incredibly agile and can sense objects as fine as a strand of hair. So unless you're standing still in a bat cave looking like a statue, your hairstyle is safe. Bats have better things to do than sabotage your blowout. 50. MSG isn't bad for you. The Chinese restaurant syndrome panic in the 1960s was based on anecdotal claims, not science. MSG is just a flavor enhancer, no different than salt or spices. So, unless you're allergic, feel free to savor that umami goodness guilt-free. 51. Birds aren't chirping for fun at dawn. They're straight up flexing. It's called the dawn chorus. And male birds are basically saying, "This is my turf, back off." So, if you thought they were singing to greet the sun, sorry, they're more like tiny, feathery gangsters. 52. Your heart doesn't stop when you sneeze. It momentarily changes rhythm due to pressure shifts, but it's still beating. So, when someone says, "bless you," They're not saving you from death. They're just being polite. Your heart's got this. 53. Cheese doesn't give you weird dreams. That myth probably started because people ate cheese-heavy dinners and blamed their wild dreams on the dairy. In reality, your subconscious was just having a field day while you slept. Cheese is innocent. Dream weird, guilt-free. 54. Cows don't sleep standing up. They can nap while standing, but for deep sleep, they lie down. So if you've been imagining snoozing cows as masters of balance, think again. Even they need a proper recline to dream of greener pastures. 55. Dogs don't see in black and white. They have limited color vision, seeing shades of blue and yellow. So if you're buying your dog an expensive red toy because it's bright, congrats, they see it as gray. Maybe just get them a stick. They'll love it. 56. Goldfish don't have 3-second memories. They can actually remember things for months. So if your fish gives you the side eye when you forget to feed them, it's not your imagination. They're judging you. 57. The 5-second rule? Total nonsense. Bacteria don't wait politely while you grab your dropped pizza slice. If it's on the floor, it's picking up germs instantly. So next time you invoke the rule, just own up to eating dirty food. We all do it. 58. The moon doesn't have a dark side. Both sides get sunlight. It just rotates in a way that one side always faces Earth. So, if Pink Floyd got you thinking there's a permanent shadowy abyss up there, sorry to ruin the vibe. 59. Glass isn't a liquid, it's a solid. The myth started because old windows were thicker at the bottom, but that's due to how they were made. Not because the glass is flowing over centuries. Glass isn't pulling a slow-motion waterfall on your windowsill. 60. Spicy food doesn't actually burn your mouth. Capsaicin tricks your nerves into thinking you're on fire, but there's no real damage. So when you're chugging milk after a hot pepper, remember, it's all in your head. Painful, yes, but imaginary. Kinda. 61. Goldfish don't grow to fit their tank size. They can get huge, like football-sized huge, if given enough space and food. So, if your tiny bowl goldfish stays small, it's not a design feature, it's stunted. Basically, you've been keeping them in a fishy version of a studio apartment. 62. Peanuts aren't nuts. They're legumes, like beans and lentils. So if you've been calling yourself a nut lover because of your peanut butter obsession, hate to break it to you, but you're more of a bean enthusiast. Still delicious, though. 63. The Eiffel Tower doesn't stay the same height year-round. It can grow and shrink by up to 6 inches depending on the weather. In the summer, the metal expands in the heat. So if you've ever thought the Eiffel Tower was looking extra tall, it wasn't just your imagination. 64. Flamingos aren't naturally pink. They're born gray. Their color comes from eating algae and shrimp. Basically, flamingos are what they eat. If they skipped their diet, they'd look more like dull pigeons. Imagine flamingos on a junk food binge. What color would that even be? 65. Antibiotics don't work on viruses. They're only for bacterial infections. If you've been popping antibiotics for a cold, not only is it useless, but it's helping bacteria become resistant. Congrats, you're training the next generation of superbugs. Not exactly a flex. 66. The Sahara Desert isn't the largest desert in the world. That title belongs to Antarctica, which is technically a cold desert. Yep, all that ice counts as a desert because it's super dry. Talk about unexpected plot twists in geography. 67. Vanilla ice cream isn't plain. Vanilla is one of the most labor-intensive flavors to produce, thanks to those finicky orchids and hand-pollinated beans. So, if you've been calling vanilla boring, maybe give it some respect. It's working way harder than your chocolate chip. 68. Your stomach doesn't shrink if you eat less. It's an elastic organ that stretches and contracts as needed. So, if you've been fasting, hoping your stomach will stay tiny forever, sorry, it's not a balloon. Eat that pizza. Your stomach can handle it. 69. Reading in dim light won't ruin your eyesight. It might strain your eyes temporarily, but it's not going to leave you blind. So, if your parents scolded you for reading under the covers with a flashlight, turns out they just didn't want to buy you more batteries. 70. Polar bears don't have white fur. Their fur is actually transparent and reflects visible light, which makes it look white. Underneath, their skin is black to absorb heat. Basically, they're the ultimate masters of cold weather fashion and survival. 71. Coffee isn't made from beans. It's made from seeds. Those little coffee beans are actually the seeds of coffee cherries. So technically, you're sipping on a fruit seed extract every morning. Sounds way fancier than just coffee, right? Baristas should start calling it hot seed juice. 72. Carrots weren't always orange. They used to come in colors like purple, yellow, and even black. The orange ones we know today were bred in the Netherlands as a tribute to the House of Orange. Imagine eating a black carrot. Halloween vibes, anyone? 73. Napoleon didn't say, "Not tonight, Josephine." That phrase was made up decades later. Poor guy is out here conquering countries, and we're dragging his name through history with fake quotes. What's next? He invented TikTok? Let's cut him some slack. 74. The Statue of Liberty wasn't always green. It was originally a shiny copper color. Over time, it oxidized and turned green like an old penny. So, if Lady Liberty looks like she needs a makeover, blame chemistry, not neglect. 75. Owls aren't the wisest animals. Their brains are surprisingly small for their body size. In fact, they're not great problem solvers. So, if you've been calling someone an owl for being smart, maybe switch to dolphins or crows. They're the real brainiacs of the animal world. 76. You don't see stars when you get hit on the head. Those flashes of light are actually your brain misfiring signals in response to trauma. So if cartoons made you think you're seeing literal constellations, nope. Your brain's just sending you a weird SOS. 77. The North Star isn't the brightest star in the sky. That honor belongs to Sirius. The North Star is just conveniently located to help you navigate. So if you've been stargazing and wondering why it's not glowing like a disco ball, now you know. 78. Toads don't give you warts. Warts come from a virus, not their bumpy skin. Toads are just innocent little amphibians minding their own business. So if you've been avoiding them out of fear, it's time to apologize and maybe shake a toad's hand. 79. Fingerprints aren't as unique as you think. Sure, they're personal, but they're not perfect identifiers. Some people even have fingerprints so similar they can confuse scanners. So if you thought your fingers were your ultimate identity card, think again. They're not foolproof. 80. Great white sharks don't hunt humans. Most shark attacks are cases of mistaken identity. They think you're a seal. So if you've been avoiding the ocean out of fear of a Jaws-style showdown, relax. You're not on their menu, usually. 81. Chameleons don't change color to match their surroundings. They actually do it to regulate body temperature or express mood. So if you've been imagining a chameleon blending perfectly into your floral wallpaper, think again. They're more like mood rings than stealth ninjas. 82. Chocolate doesn't give you acne. Studies have shown no direct link between chocolate and breakouts. So if you've been skipping your favorite dessert to keep your skin clear, congrats. You've been depriving yourself for absolutely no reason. Grab that candy bar. 83. Milk doesn't build unbreakable bones. While it's a good source of calcium, other factors like exercise play a bigger role in bone health. So if you thought guzzling milk would turn you into a superhero with titanium bones, sorry to disappoint. You're still human. 84. Rain doesn't always fall from fluffy white clouds. Sometimes it comes from invisible clouds made of tiny water droplets or ice crystals. So if you've ever felt rain on a clear day, congrats. You've experienced sneaky incognito weather. 85. Wolves don't howl at the moon. They're just communicating with their pack. The whole wolf plus full moon connection is a human invention, probably because it looked cool. Wolves are just out there chatting, and we've turned them into night-loving poets. Classic humans. 86. Alcohol doesn't warm you up. It dilates your blood vessels, making you feel warmer, but it actually causes you to lose heat faster. So if you've been taking shots to stay cozy in the cold, you're not warming up. You're just getting tipsy and cold. 87. Vikings weren't filthy savages. They bathed more often than most Europeans of their time, once a week, which was considered excessive. They even carried grooming tools like combs and razors. So if you've been picturing Vikings as mud-covered barbarians, time to update that mental image. 88. Dinosaurs didn't all die at the same time. Some species were already extinct before the asteroid hit, and others lingered for years after. It wasn't an instant global wipeout, more like a slow, catastrophic unrolling of nature's worst event. 89. Tarantulas don't kill with their venom. Their bite is like a bee sting for humans. Painful, but not lethal unless you're allergic. So if you've been treating tarantulas like tiny death machines, give them a break. They're actually pretty chill spiders. 90. Camels don't store water in their humps. The humps are actually fat reserves. They can go without water for a long time because of their efficient hydration system, not because they're carrying mini water tanks on their backs. Science is greater than cartoons, once again. 91. Hair doesn't turn gray overnight. Stress can accelerate the graying process, but it's gradual. If someone wakes up with a sudden silver streak, blame hair dye or Hollywood drama, not science. Your hair is more patient than you think. 92. Earwigs don't crawl into your ears to lay eggs. That terrifying rumor is 100% fake. They're just harmless little bugs looking for dark, damp places to hide. Your ears? Not their Airbnb of choice. So, if you've been losing sleep over this, you can finally relax. 93. Dogs' mouths aren't cleaner than humans. Both are full of bacteria, just different kinds. Sure, your dog licks their wounds and seems fine, but they also lick other, questionable things. So maybe rethink those face kisses next time. Your dog loves you, germs and all. 94. The sun isn't yellow. It's white, but Earth's atmosphere scatters blue light, making it look yellow to us. If you were in space, the sun would shine its true bright white. So, all those yellow suns in kids' drawings? Cute, but scientifically incorrect. 95. Sugar doesn't rot your teeth by itself. It feeds bacteria in your mouth, and they produce acid, which causes cavities. So, if you're brushing and flossing like a pro, your sweet tooth can live guilt-free, within reason. Toothpaste still wins over candy. 96. If you drop a penny from the Empire State Building, it won't kill someone. Air resistance slows it down, so it'd hurt but wouldn't be lethal. Still, maybe don't test this theory unless you're ready to explain why you're chucking loose change off a skyscraper. 97. Sloths don't sleep all day. They actually only sleep about 10 hours, which is less than cats. Their slow movement isn't because they're lazy, it's an energy-saving strategy to avoid predators. Sloths are basically the ultimate chill survivalists. 98. Birds aren't the only creatures that migrate. Butterflies, whales, and even some fish make incredible journeys. Monarch butterflies travel thousands of miles, and salmon literally swim upstream to spawn. Birds get all the fame, but migration is a team effort across species. 99. Your body doesn't detox itself with juice cleanses. Your liver and kidneys are already detox machines. Drinking overpriced green juice isn't doing anything extra, except draining your wallet. If you're craving veggies, just eat a salad and let your organs handle the rest. 100. Sharks don't smell blood from miles away. They can detect tiny amounts of chemicals in water, but the miles part is exaggerated. They're not lurking in the ocean, waiting to make a beeline for a paper cut. They've got better things to do. 101. Pigeons aren't dumb. They're actually pretty smart. They can recognize themselves in mirrors, count objects, and even distinguish between different artists' paintings. So, the next time you call someone a bird brain, remember pigeons might just outsmart you. Alright, now be honest. How many of these myths were you guilty of believing? Don't worry, this is a safe space. Well, kind of. Actually, drop it in the comments so we can all judge you, but, like, in a fun way. And hey, if you're feeling extra brave, share your favorite ridiculous fact that you've told people with full confidence. Don't hold back. We're all friends here until the comment section starts a war. See you in the chaos.